Hello, hello, hello. With the rise of novel coronavirus or COVID 19, a lot of people are having to work from home. So I thought I would share some of my favorite work from home tips and tricks to work effectively and efficiently. I've been working from home since 2008. I've been a virtual employee at a Fortune 500 company. Now I work from home as a consultant. I've been in sales, working from planes, trains, and automobiles. So I've got all the tips. I'm going to start from the top of the day and work my way down to the end of the day. So, beginning of the day, do what you normally would do. Get up, uh, get dressed, eat. But the most important thing there is to get dressed. You want to stick with your routine, but you also want to get dressed. There's a perception that many have that folks who work from home are doing so in their pajamas the entire day. That's actually not the case for most people because putting on clothes is a way to change your state from living to working, and it prepares your mind to actually to work. So if you would normally wear a suit and tie or dress in heels, you don't necessarily have to do that, but do change your clothes into something that you would wear outside of the house, and that prepares you for work. Second thing, after you've done your normal morning routine, transition to your designated workspace. Now, behind me, you see my designated workspace. I have a room in my home that works as an office. It also seconds as a guest bedroom if needed. But this is primarily where I come to work. I don't really come out here to hang out. So it's a little messy, but you can see I have a standing desk back behind me, but everything, I've got a little calendar on the wall. It's set up like it would be set up at an office, with the exception of my COO right there. She's on a break. But I've got books or resource materials that I would normally need. Um, and then this is what the rest of the room looks like. Um, then you want to do what you normally would do during your workday. So if you've got a calendar at work and you've got meetings, you want to do the same thing when you're at home. It's just that when you're at work and you're not in a meeting, you're focused on work. But when you're at home and you're not in a meeting on a phone or a video call, you might get distracted. So you still want to schedule your day. I use this tool to schedule my day. I don't like to have like all the little things that I'm going to do actually on my calendar, but I do have it scheduled throughout the day of what are the things I'm going to work on, because I can get distracted, or I can feel like, what do I want to do next? So I plan the day. The first thing I do when I come to my designated workspace is plan my work for the day, or sometimes I plan the work for the day before. The next thing you want to do, if you have a issue with distractions, maybe there are other people in the house, kids, a spouse, a handy person, cleaning person, you want to set aside time, have an agreement in your house as best as you can to set aside time. So from 8 to 12 is working hours. From 12 to 1, 12 to 1:30 is lunchtime. So that's when you go spend time with your family or the other folks who are in the house. And then also take your breaks with the folks in the house, but set a timer. You want to have a timer because just like you would at work, you want to go back to your designated workspace. Now, if you don't have a room in your house that can serve as a separate workspace, any little corner of any room will do. If it's the dining room table and you want to use that as your workspace. When I was in business school, I was in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I took a little corner of the living room, put a desk there, put all my work and office materials there, and then just just had one of those little folding walls where I could separate the rest of the room from that corner. And it was perfectly fine. I only did work in the corner, and I only lived in the living space. And that's what you should do. In whatever your designated workspace is, keep the work there. Live in the living space, and I never recommend working in your bedroom. But if this is a temporary situation, if it's a week or 2 weeks that you have to work from home, set up a little space in the corner of your bedroom, but don't work in the bed, okay? Um, you also want to be sure that you're building in breaks. So if you're not by yourself, or if you are by yourself, be sure to build in breaks just like you would at work. One of my favorite things that I do is I've got a hula hoop here. So I'll hula hoop a little bit sometimes during the day. It breaks up, it breaks up the day for me. And I also get a little cardio in. And then the end of the day, set an end of the day. People who work from home, who have no one else in the house to distract them, you'll hear like we'll work till 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Don't recommend that. You still want to get plenty of sleep. For me, my clock is my COO. She's sundown, so between 4 and 4:30, she becomes really anxious and will start pacing. So that usually ends my day at about 5 o'clock. But if she doesn't do that, I try not to work past 7, because if I work past 8 o'clock, I won't be able to sleep. So start your day the way you normally would. Set up your designated spot. Have an agreement with folks in the house. I know if you have little kids, they don't really care. They want to be able to see you, but set up and enforce an agreement as much as you possibly can for working hours. And then set your end of day, whatever your end of day routine is. If you would normally leave work at 5, 5:30, 6, do that at home and then transition into your living space just as you would when you come home. So I hope that's helpful. And remember social distancing, wash your hands.